Welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring key Chinese concepts that look alike. So last week, we ended with 1 and 10. Simply one horizontal line, and a vertical line. As far as language goes, as far as Chinese visual representation of the real world goes, that is minimalism. Okay, one is about the concept of the origin, the one, and the other is about roping technology. That's 10. Now, this week, additional horizontal line at the bottom of this number 10. It looks similar, but it's completely non-related, even if they share similar structure. They came from different origins. This one is about soil, pronounced as 土, and you can see now I add traditional 土, exactly the same, because that's the core concept, cannot be further simplified. And 2,000 years ago's dictionary, exactly the same. Now, what this is about. The first horizontal line is the ground level, where humans normally stand on. If we are below the ground, that means we're buried, right? So above the ground are living humans' space. Now, vertical line here is not a rope anymore. It is a plant, sort of a genetic plant. We don't give details of how the plant looks. Maybe a tree, maybe a grass, maybe a shrub, you don't know. Simply some plant that has both above the ground portion and below the ground portion. And by the way, that's one of the major distinctions of humans or animals versus plants, right? Plants are stuck in the ground. They have to have half of it buried under. And that's when they are alive versus animals. When we are alive, everything is above the ground, and we're under, that means we're done. And then the second horizontal line is the indicator. So that's the hard part, because only when I do the unpacking, then I realize not every strokes on that frame is a physical representation of the real world. And this second horizontal line is one such line. It's an indicator. It's kind of arrow pointing in today's visual representation to draw your attention to the very bottom of what the plant, the very tip of the root of the plant. Now, what does that say to us? That is, in this frame, we want you to focus on the very edge of the root of the plant. And all this ground and the plant simply to help you locate what we're talking about here, which is soil, which is a logical deduction of what's surrounding the root of the plant. Now, expressions with 土, soil. Okay, 尘土飞扬. Chen, you can see the concept of Chen made with soil, because Chen, dust, have similarities, or the particles in the air may come from soil, the top of the soil, and simply we add a small soil, like a tiny little piece, particles of soil. That's Chen to dust and the soil. 飞扬, fei means flying. Yang means in action, of like the flag flapping. And that gives you the sense of such dust that came from soil that's flying in the air. So recently, it got quite windy in my town, and I definitely experienced that, the kind of sand blowing, quite a sensation that I don't normally get to experience. 故土难离. Okay, here is another soil, but it adds a little bit more, I guess, melancholic effect by having this gu. Gu means where you originally came from, your origin soil. That means your hometown, basically, where you were born, where you first, your entry point into the world, so to speak. And just like we came from our mother, so mother is that one special person in the whole world. That's our entry point to the world. And this particular place is the origin place that we came from. And a lot of us can be explained by where we came from, right? So 故土难离, nan means difficult, difficult to leave behind. 故土难离 speaks a lot to first generation immigrants like me, that all these years I'm away from my origin soil. And that heartstring pulling by leaving my homeland or hometown and home folks behind. That's the emotion. Occasionally, I got to experience whenever it was a Chinese holiday. And then I'm like, okay, I'm the only one stuck out here. That's away from my home. So this is the expression to express that not only nostalgic feeling, but also away from where you originally came from. 土里土气, okay, Chinese associate soil because it's ground. It's a lot of them. It's not like a special mineral. It's not like gold and silver. So soil, by the value itself, seems in comparison to other things, is a very humble material, even if Chinese is an agrarian society and everything agriculture-wise came from soil. However, Chinese doesn't, in this expression, value soil as such. Instead, we associate soil with this homegrown or homebound feeling or fashion or behavior. So when we say 土里土气, that kind of equivalent to English hilly-billy, somebody who is so deeply attached to the soil, their world is kind of limited. Their vision is kind of limited to where they came from. And if you hear their accent, you look at their behavior, you can clearly identify they came from a kind of countryside and live closely to attach to their soil. Now, I guess in today's age, where you have mobile phone to have an entry point to the whole world of possibilities and information and going ons, then 土里土气 probably is a less of a problem because everybody can see as long as they choose to see what's somewhere else is going on, how the other fashions or how people talk or think in other places than your hometown, small zone, local environment. We're kind of all through global trade and also global exchange of culture, language, commodities. Everything is so connected. So this 土里土气 is not even likely a problem anymore. So there we go. 土, soil. Thank you for your time. See you another day.